Could you imagine 2,000 years ago being at the foot of the cross? Christ is in the midst of his suffering, and with full knowledge that he was acting as a substitute for you, that he was voluntarily becoming a lamb on your behalf to save you from sin and all of your guilt. Knowing all of that full well, you walk up to him as he hangs nailed to the cross and says, I'm not really sure if you love me. Can you imagine? You know what? It's no different today to question the love of God as a Christian in your heart. It's no different than going back to Calvary and spitting on the cross, saying, I don't believe this is real love. Are you kidding me? No. See, this is where we just have to be completely humbled by the greatness of Christ and the greatness of his word, the greatness of the word written and incarnate, that Christ, of all people, hung there to deliver you from your sin. That Christ gave himself up in love for you. And to bow before that and say, Lord, I don't understand anything else about my circumstances. I'm still struggling. I'm still hurt. This is still really difficult. But there is one thing clear right now, is that you love me. And I'll never question that again. Christian, that should be so settled in your heart when you walk out the door today that it's never questioned in your mind again. You're just not allowed to go there. We cannot question the love of God. Why? Because he's proven it in the past. We look back. Hey, you know what? But there's more than that. As you look back, as you look at the history, you have your own history as a Christian to look back on, don't you? Don't you remember the early days of your conversion? When you were filled with the joy and the recognition that you had truly been born again, and the wonderful peace and joy that flooded your soul, even if it's been clouded in the interim. Don't you remember that? Oh, Christian, don't you remember? Don't you remember those times in the past where God answered your prayers in your situation and brought you help that you couldn't have imagined? Don't you remember that? Don't you remember the way he's blessed your footsteps and given you deliverance? In retrospect, looking back where he directed you in a way that you wanted to go, but now in retrospect you realize that would have been disaster and God stopped me